That moment when you realize your skincare is actually working. That's Rodan and Fields, the #1 female dermatologist-founded skincare brand in the U.S. Designed by 2 dermatologists who don't just know women's skin, they know how to formulate for it. Rodan and Fields, love what you see. Tap the banner or visit rodanandfields.com/Spotify to get your exclusive welcome offer.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Today is May 5th, and that means Cinco de Mayo, Wolf, a holiday that celebrates Mexico's victory over France. But some, in the Battle of Puebla, I should say, but some communities have canceled or scaled back cultural events because of President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration and the fear among many Latinos that they could be arrested.
You don't get to celebrate a culture that you've tried to erase. So for all you maggots out there, this Monday, it's not Cinco de Mayo for you. It's just May 5th. And that is all. And that is how it should be. If you've ever said, speak English, if you've ever called an immigrant illegal, or if you cheered for walls, bans, or mass deportations, don't you dare celebrate Cinco de Mayo. You do not get to enjoy the flavor of a heritage and culture that you have demonized. No margaritas, no tequila, no tacos, and you don't get to dress up in those little sombreritos and pretend that just for one day that you respect the Mexican culture, when the rest of the year you treat it like a threat. You maggots want to whitewash America? Fine. Then go ahead and celebrate whitewashed holidays. Go to chain restaurants. Eat bland food. Wave your little flags around. But don't you dare toast to a heritage that built this country. You cannot hate the hands that built this country and then raise a glass to their traditions, all while disrespecting their culture. You didn't earn Cinco de Mayo, you maggots, so don't speak her name. If this struck a nerve, then good. Let the hypocrisy shine spotlight and share away with this video. Drop a heart, drop a follow.
I didn't. Wait a minute. I thought black people were the ones that built this country, according to the left. Now the Mexicans are taking over for that too? The Mexicans built this country, not black people that were in bondage? Oh, this is offensive on so many levels. Oh, the show's on. Happy Cinco de Mayo, my friends. For the record, I know this is going to sound horrible, but it's true. You can ask TJ, my nephew. I don't like tacos. I've never liked tacos. I don't eat tacos. Nachos, though. I like nachos with lots of cheese, but I don't eat tacos. I for some reason, the whole taco thing just, no thanks.
No hard shell, no chef shell, no nothing?
Don't want tacos. No
burritos?
No tacos for me. I like burritos. I like nachos. No tacos for me. I don't drink margaritas. I'm not a maggot. Well, at least, I've been called worse, but welcome to Cinco de Mayo. If you are celebrating Cinco de Mayo, yes, Cinco de Mayo is the Mexican holiday that separates the country's victory over French forces in the Battle of Puebla. Okay, history course. Let's see how well you people know your multiculturalism history. Okay, so the Battle of Puebla, French. Who was leading France in this war with Mexico? Any takers? Carlos, Philip. Come on, Philip. You know everything. Come on. You know everything.
Yeah, I know everything.
Yeah, okay. Who was it? Who was the guy that was battling the Mexicans that lost in the Battle of Puebla in 1862?
There might be one thing I don't know.
All right, don't you use AI. I don't want you. Who was it that was in charge of the French when they were fighting the Mexicans? This whole Cinco de Mayo thing celebrates. Who was it that they beat?
What year was it?
1862. You weren't born yet.
Was it
De Gaulle? De Gaulle was World War II.
No. Who was the guy? Who was the guy back
Who was the guy back then? Who was the guy back? The guy back then, does the name Napoleon ring a bell? Anybody? No, you don't. You're shaking your head, Carlos. You never heard of Napoleon.
The short guy?
Actually, it wasn't the short Napoleon. It was Napoleon III. It wasn't Napoleon the First. Now, interestingly enough, Napoleon I passed away on May 5th. But that was in 1821. Napoleon I, the French general, the first consul, the emperor of the French, who ended up in the pokey. And it was his relative, his nephew, Napoleon III, who declared himself emperor. He's got a long story. Can't go into it all. Anyway, he lost the Battle of Puebla, but the war went on several years before Mexico finally won. But it was such a great victory that's where we get the whole Cinco de Mayo celebrations from. And people don't even, shame on you, Carlos. Mexicans, according to that young woman, built this country, and you don't know anything about the culture of the people who built America.
I'm still going to have tacos tonight.
Oh, that's hardly nice. I'm still going to have tacos. Okay. Oh, by the way, you know what else? This is leftists all around the world are celebrating this day for another reason. It's the birthday of one of their biggest heroes ever. In the whole liberaldom, this is like one of the high holy days of liberaldom. Yes. That's because this is the birthday of Karl Marx. I assume you've heard of him.
Yes.
In passing, you've heard of him.
Yes.
Yes, in passing. Yes, Karl Marx, German philosophy, was the author of the Communist Manifesto. That's the translation in English. I'm not going to bother with the original. And also of the movement's most important book, Das Kapital. And he is the father figure of the movement that bears his name, Marxism, which is alive and well in the Democrat Party. No doubt there are secret meetings tonight in the bowels of Washington, D.C. They're probably having tacos, and then after that, lifting up their glasses of whatever they're drinking in a toast to their figurehead, Karl Marx. So, important day here. Also, not to belabor the point, this was the day Americans finally started getting into space. Alan Shepard it was the day that we had an astronaut that went up suborbital flight, but it was America's first entry into space. The Soviets, of course, had beat us to the punch. Now, liberals are not happy today, even though it is Cinco de Mayo, because many people, today is the day that the deadline has arrived. What deadline? Well, the deadline where people will start getting notices that they're into collections for what? Their student loans. And as you might imagine, in some quarters, that is not being viewed with happiness. Also, over the weekend, Donald Trump did amazing things. The best one that I loved over the weekend, there were a few, but the one that I loved the most over the weekend was Donald Trump announced that the Department of Prisons, the Bureau of Prisons, has been commanded by the Commander-in-Chief, the President of the United States, to reopen Alcatraz. Now, I have to love that. I love it. You know, every time I see one of these documentaries about Alcatraz and all, I'm like, why in the world can't we just open it back up? And Donald Trump just actually gave the order. Open Alcatraz back up. Now, that has been greeted with some skepticism. I have a Fox story here. Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett and former general counsel of the Navy Van Hip. What a cool name. Van Hip. That's his name, Van Hip. Van Hip. They were discussing it today on Fox and Friends. Van Hip says it's a provocative idea. Well, that's what Jarrett said, which Trump is proposing. But here's the deal. It is, however, federal property, so this can be done, but it'd have to be rebuilt almost entirely. The Alcatraz is outdated, it's crumbling, and here is the important part, says Greg Jarrett. Alcatraz has landmark legal status. So there will undoubtedly be an avalanche of lawsuits that will try to tie this up from years, most notably from California. But this is federal land. So I would hope that some of those anticipated lawsuits could be, how shall we say, mitigated. And there are a lot of people, Van Hip said, there are a lot of folks that are going to complain it costs too much, it's going to be too difficult to do the construction on it. But who have we got? We've got one of the best builders in America. So Alcatraz originally was opened in 1934, 22 acres of rock in the middle of San Francisco Bay, cold water. And so Donald Trump says he's directing the Bureau of Prisons, Department of Justice, FBI, DHS, to reopen a substantially enlarged and rebuilt Alcatraz to house America's most ruthless and violent offenders. Why travel to El Salvador when we can have one here? Let's just do El Salvador West Coast, and let's make it in the heart of San Francisco, right off San Francisco Bay. James Golden, Snerdley. It is Monday, Cinco de Mayo. Coming back right after this. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. 3 couples, 4 vacations, a lot to unpack. Watch The 4 Seasons, a new series starring comedy favorites Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Will Forte, Coleman Domingo, and more in a hilarious and heartfelt love letter to long-term relationships. Based on the original Alan Alda film. Watch The 4 Seasons, streaming now only on Netflix.
Ladies, you'll end up shopping for your guy's deodorant, right? So try Degree's Original Cool Rush. You see, last year, Degree changed the formula, and men were mad. One guy even started a petition. So Degree admitted they messed up and brought the Original Cool Rush scent back. It's clean, crisp, and actually smells like someone you want to cuddle. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So toss one in your cart and find out why it's the best-selling men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory.
We off? 30 seconds of carefree bliss. Oof, like wind in your hair carefree. Oh, like using Clorox Disinfecting All-Purpose Cleaner in the home carefree. Yes! Like dog slobbing on the coffee table and cleaning it with Clorox Carefree? He's on a roll now. Spit toothpaste on the faucet. You got it. You got it. Peanut butter on the light switch. Oh, spritz, spritz. Spritz, spritz. Clorox, man. Clean feels good.
Okay, we're back. Use as directed.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Let's see. Donald Trump, this was brilliant today, folks. It's just brilliant. Listen,
what
Donald
we thought
Trump.
we'd do is a self-deport, where we're going to pay each one a certain amount of money, and we're going to get them a beautiful flight back to where they came from, and they have a period of time. And if they make it, we're going to work with them so that maybe someday, with a little work, they can come back in if they're good people, if they're the kind of people that we want in our company, industrious people that could love our country. And if they're not, they won't. But it will give them a path to becoming, to coming back into the country. If they miss that limit, they're going to be taken out of our country. And they will never get a path to come back in. And it'll be a much tougher process. And it's called self-deportation. And by doing that, you're talking about so many millions of people.
This is actually, they're going to give, in addition to the beautiful flight that they're going to go back to their being repatriated to their own country, in addition to the beautiful flight, they're going to give them $1,000 to get resettled back in their own country. All you got to do is just say, hey, I want to go, self-deport. I'm here illegally. And you can work legally to come back. Brilliant plan. We got a lot more on Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
This episode is brought to you by Enterprise Mobility. From fleet management to flexible truck rentals to technology solutions, Enterprise Mobility helps businesses find the right mobility solutions so they can find new opportunities. Because if your business is on the road, they want to make sure it's on the road to success. Enterprise Mobility, moving you moves the world. Find your road at enterprisemobility.com.
You guys, I just found the most incredible Mother's Day gift. It's called Goldbelly. Goldbelly is this amazing site where you can get the most iconic foods from restaurants all across the U.S., shipped anywhere in the country for free in time for Mother's Day. We're talking cakes from Ina Garten and Martha Stewart, Magnolia Bakery's famous banana pudding, and New York bagel brunches. Make Mother's Day perfect with Goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code MOM. That's Goldbelly.com, promo code MOM.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, and MLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
If I own stock in something and I do a good job and the stock market goes up, I guess I'm profiting. But who really profits is somebody like Nancy Pelosi, who uses inside information She worked for $175,000 a year, and that's at the high end, and she's worth $150, $200 million. Okay? You ought to look at Nancy Pelosi, and you ought to look at some of these politicians that are stone-cold crooks. I was very wealthy when I came in. Being president, I probably cost me money if you really look.
Yeah, that was part of the Meet the Press interview. And the Meet the Press interview with Kristen Welker and Donald Trump, I mean, I think that thing went on for 80 minutes. They only played some of it. It was a long interview, and a lot was said, including that remark. James Golden, Snerdley with you here. It is Monday's Rush Hour. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we got so much to play. And we're just going to go down the line. Let's just go down the line. And we'll just react to whatever we got. We left off with, we did the audio for Cinco de Mayo, and happy Cinco de Mayo to all of you. You know who's back on social media, who's making a presence, is we have two daughters. Doug Emhoff's daughter had a big, weird posting over the weekend. She showed the world her magnet collection. She collects magnets. And she showed the world her magnet collection. It was very unique, I guess, sort of presentation. But another one that can't stay off of social media is the daughter of Tim Walz. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the daughter of the man that would be vice president, Tim Walz.
If Jesus were alive today and in the United States, this administration would have already taken him and removed him from this country without due process, claimed he was a member of the MS-13 gang as a way to try to justify not giving him due process, as if there is any justifiable reason to not giving somebody due process. But yeah, some people don't want to talk about that. It truly is baffling how clear and laid out everything is, and there is still people standing by it. I believe in the good of people and, like, humanity, humans, you know, deep down at our core, like, we care about each other. But that's really being tested, because how anyone is okay with this is terrifying to me. But yeah, if you look like me, speak up, speak out, because we might be the only ones safe from what's coming and some of the only people that are able to stop it. So yeah, it's our duty at this point.
So if you look like me, meaning I'm like a white girl, like, we might be the only ones, like, to stop it, because I believe in humanity, except Donald Trump and them. If Jesus were in America, they would say he's MS-13 and try to deport him. Okay. All right, let's get to this business. Over the weekend, again, this comes from the Meet the Press interview with Kristen Welker, and the left had a freaking meltdown. They're going to play the cut involved, and you'll hear the cut, and then you'll hear part of the meltdown. Well, she's on a panel with Representative Chrissy Houlihan from Pennsylvania. The CNN panel is having a meltdown over the Meet the Press. This part of the interview.
Your Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
Don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said.
I mean, some of the backstory here is that President Trump's invocation of the Alien Enemies Act was an effort, paused right now by a Trump-appointed judge, to get around some of the due process obligations when it comes to deporting undocumented immigrants in this country. But anyway.
I mean, your head should explode when you hear the President of the United States say that he's not really sure if he's going to abide by the Constitution. And then say something as weak as that he's not a lawyer. It doesn't matter what he is. He's the President of the United States. And the idea that he can seriously, with a straight face, say something like that should offend all Americans, should offend all voters, and should be an indicator of who he is as a person. And I think one of the things we were talking about earlier was sort of a legislative responsibility. The reality is right now it's not just the president who's behaving as though the Constitution doesn't matter. So is the legislature. We every week after week, are passing less than 5 or 6 bills, and they're ridiculous bills that mean nothing. We have so far had 5 laws come into being as a result of the last 100 days. We are anemic as a legislative body, and we refuse to actually do our constitutional job, which is to do the things like tariff policy. Instead of doing that, my Republican colleagues have literally voted on the ability to not vote on tariffs. And that's where we are right now as a legislature.
All right, let's just do a few things. He never said that he wasn't going to obey the Constitution. The question came at him, and he was answering the first question. He answered twice. And the question was, do you think citizens and non-citizens have to go through due process? I don't know. I am lawyers looking at this. Why? Why is that important? Because do non-citizens who are invading the country, once they're here, can they be rapidly expelled using a law that is on the books, that has been on the books since almost the beginning of the country? And that is the issue before the court. And Donald Trump is pretty much saying, I don't know how this is going to go with non-citizens. And they have blown this up to be, of course, he doesn't want to be got a Constitution. He doesn't want to do it. I'm not. My head is not exploding. And by the way, I'm glad that Congress isn't passing a whole bunch of laws that this Democrat wants, because anytime they pass laws that Democrat wants, it's bad for the country. Let's move to the next one. Another voice of criticism. This was on ABC News with George Stephanopoulos. Some of you, especially in New Jersey, might recognize the voice from the Gone a Bridge Too Far days. Here he is.
I will tell you that if you look at the reaction of the rest of the world, the biggest problem is that the world now just sees us as an unreliable partner.
Right. Oh,
and
garbage.
Donald Trump, I believe, misevaluated that. I think he thought he'd come in and bully them. I just say, we're the biggest economy in the world, and you may not like what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. What he didn't count on was the effect it's had on the bond market as well. And the problem there is that we're now looking at a real potential for stagflation, to have an economy that is in recession, which we're 1 quarter towards that now. We had a recessionary report in the last quarter.
Well, the job market report on Friday was pretty solid.
Right, so we'll see whether that translates, George, into GDP growth or not. We don't know whether it will or it won't. We'll see next quarter. I hope it does, because that'd be good for everybody. But in the end, what most economists are now saying, and business leaders are saying, is that we're headed towards stagflation, which we haven't had for a long time. And he didn't run on that.
Yeah, well, you didn't run, pal, on anything. And you're not president. You're just on the sidelines carping. Of course, that's Chris Christie. He and John Bolton are two of the most bitter people. Every time they open their mouth with Trump, it's just something negative. Just so bitter. Now, if you want the real deal, let's turn to the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. We got 2 cuts. I want to just take a little pause in between them to separate them, Carlos, but let's just nail both of them back to back. They speak for themselves.
The Trump economic agenda is more than the sum of its parts. Trade, tax cuts, and deregulation may be 3 distinct policies, but each policy is mutually reinforcing, and acting in concert, they push toward the same goal: to solidify our position as the home of global capital. The result of the president's economic plan will be more jobs, more homes, more growth, more factories, more critical manufacturing plants, more semiconductors, more energy, more opportunity, more defense, more economic security, more innovation. In short, more of all things we need the most. The President believes we can achieve more together. This is the abundant vision he has for the future. Thousands of businesses are now catching the president's vision. Since he assumed office in January, companies have pledged to invest trillions into the U.S. economy. President Trump has secured more investment for our country in 100 days than President Biden did during all 4 years. Entrepreneurs, too, are starting to understand what the president is trying to accomplish. March saw one of the highest levels ever recorded for new business applications. Many of these men and women, like many of you, are grasping that America First is the blueprint for a more abundant world.
Now, my friends, you're not going to see this reported as the lead story on many of your mainstream media outlets tonight. To me, this is the biggest indication so far that we have that Donald Trump's plan is working precisely as it was intended. The story is in the Wall Street Journal. By the way, Donald Trump, he lit up a Wall Street Journal reporter that asked him a question on Air Force One. He's pretty much told him, your paper's a rag. You people don't report anything. You used to be good. You're horrible. But aside that, there's a story today, Wall Street Journal. Here's the headline. How bad is China's economy? The data needed to answer is vanishing. Beijing has stopped publishing hundreds of statistics, making it harder to know what's going on in the country. Not long ago, anyone could comb through a wide range of official data from China. Then it started to disappear. Land sales measures, foreign investment data, and unemployment indicators have gone dark in recent years. Data on cremations and a business confidence index have also been cut off. Even official soy sauce production reports are gone. In all, Chinese officials have stopped publishing hundreds of data points once used by researchers and investors, according to a Wall Street Journal analysis. In most cases, Chinese authorities haven't given any reason for ending or withholding data, but the missing numbers have come as the world's second biggest economy has stumbled under the weight of excessive debt, a crumbling real estate market, and other troubles, spurring heavy-handed efforts by authorities to control the narrative. And this story goes on and on for pages, how China is no longer putting out information so that the world can gauge how well or not they're doing. That, to me, is the biggest indication that Donald Trump's plan is working. Let's take a quick break, come back, see what else we can squeeze in. Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, the Monday edition, my friends, is underway.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Faraday presenta Ojos con Alergia y Picazón contra el jardinero. Y el ganador es Faraday Extra Fuerte. Para aliviar la picazón de los ojos por alergia, actúa más rápido y supera a Claritin y Flonase aún a las 24 horas. Faraday, adelante.
This episode is brought to you by Factor. Optimize your nutrition this year with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal service. Factor's fresh, never-frozen meals are dietitian-approved, ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Choose from 40 weekly options across 8 dietary preferences, like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Eat smarter at factormeals.com/listen50 and use code listen50 for 50% off, plus free shipping on your first box. Factormeals.com/listen50. Code listen50. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, let's talk about your expense report.
I didn't submit an expense report.
You will. Custom saddles and dog training services are not within policy.
What are you talking about?
SAP Concur uses advanced AI to audit and automatically detect out-of-policy expenses. It's the breakthrough I needed to focus more on our future.
These are my future expenses?
Yes, and self-defense classes are out of policy.
I'll need self-defense classes?
You will.
For what?
It's a big dog.
SAP Concur helps your business move forward faster. Learn more at concur.com.
Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
These are the most pampered elitists. This educated elite in this country it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know, the jobs report came out on Friday. All right, so unemployment for someone with a bachelor's degree, the unemployment level is 2.5%. If you just have less than high school, it's 6%. If you have high school, it's 4%. Double the unemployment for high school grads. They make over $1 million more in their lifetime. Their kids live in better neighborhoods. They don't face crime, poverty, worries, or concerns. Okay? There's 7.2 million job openings right now. Take one. Take one. Oh, it wasn't what you studied for? Too bad. Take one. Right. That's what the average person does. We have coddled these folks. We have created a caste system in America. We have a caste system. We have put the elites above us. And we keep, how many people who have no money in the stock market, did you see the stock market under Trump? You never cared about it before. You said it was for rich people. Why are you letting the elites dominate us? Why is a cab driver taking his tax money to pay your student loan? Your kid's going to have a better life than his kids. What the hell is wrong with this country? Pay your damn student loan. Right. Bottom line, pay it.
By the way,
that impassioned monologue was Charles Payne on Fox. Now, thanks to Princess Diana, I have a different view. And during the week, we're going to play again some of these people that are talking about their student loans. I have one gal that says she took out a student loan for 56 G's, I believe it is. She has paid 56 G's. She owes 54 G's in interest. Folks, there's a lot to this story that's going on. James Golden, Snerdley, with you here. So, yes, we're going to be spending a lot of time with the student loan business. It's just amazing. There's also a story that I am not going to have time to get to today. This is the stuff that we're holding on to. Oh, by the way, Trump went off on Jasmine Crockett, called her low IQ. She's not happy. She responded. It's the usual. It's too low IQ for me to get into on the show. Charles Grassley is warning of this judicial overreach, hopes the Supreme Court puts a stop to some of these district judges with their universal injunctions. There was a remarkable story, and I don't know how I feel about this either. I have mixed feelings about one of the largest homeless camps in America, in the forest. They had orders to leave. Some of these people have been living in their RVs and their cars in the forest for years. But anyway, we'll get to all that during the week. We got to go. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your families, their loved ones. God willing, back tomorrow. Until then, my friends, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?